Guess who's back, 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 back again. Bush is back, back, back. I brought a friend.
Me.
It's back, me is back, me is back.
We're back, baby. Welcome everybody to the Bush and Me Show. This is our 2020 NFL season preview show. I didn't think we'd be saying this. Thank God sports are back. Thank God the NFL is coming back. We got a whole bunch of stuff for you guys. We're gonna have a new episode every Friday. So keep your Friday mornings clear. If you're working out, if you're driving to work, tune in because every Friday we're gonna have our picks, our analysis. We're gonna have what's hot that week. So stay tuned. Now that means our Thursday night games are gonna be released on Thursday on our social media platforms. So you guys gotta follow us at Bush and Me Show, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're gonna have it on all those platforms for you guys. So whether you're a bettor, you're just trying to win your fantasy league, or you're just trying to get some insight on your favorite team to talk trash with your coworkers, we're going to give you all the stuff you need. So make sure you guys tune in. With that, Bush, let's jump into it.
Let's do it.
Now, it's going to be a weird year. There's no fans in the stands in most of the places, almost all the places. Yeah. As a former player, somebody who had to deal with the fans, whether they were clapping or cussing at you, how do you think that's going to play out?
I think it's going to be a little bit of a tough situation at first. You know, when you walk out there through that tunnel, pregame is different. You know, when you're out there and you see some of the fans start to trickle in, but when you go back in and you're circling up with the team and you're in there getting hype and you walk through that tunnel and you see those fans and especially if you're away. But it makes you feel good, though, when you're at home and everybody's cheering for you and you know the energy's there and you know whoever's in that stadium on the opposite side when you're playing at home, it's going to be a long day. Or when you're playing away, you know, you just get that excitement because it feels like it's you against the world. It's you against the stadium. It's just your crew, you know. It's your team, your coaches, and it's like I said, it's you against the stadium. It's you against the whole city. And you feel that, and that just I guess you could say it excites you. It's an adrenaline rush walking out there just to hear that. And now you're going to walk out there and there's going to be nobody there. There's going to be 60, 70, 80,000 empty seats. That's going to be very tough, I think, especially early on in the season. You know, it's going to be quite an adjustment. It's going to feel like a glorified practice. And in my opinion, at first, I'm interested to see, though. I'm interested to see how it plays out. I just don't want the quality of the game to diminish that much, but I understand it's different when it comes to the NBA. NFL, they really rely on their fans.
Now, they usually say home field advantage averages about 3 points in a point spread swing. For you bettors out there, you know what I'm talking about. And then in some stadiums, it's more like 4 or 5 if they have, you know, the bigger fan base, they have the noise. I'm interested to see if that's going to correlate into wins and losses this year, like you said, with the noise.
Everybody's going to be on an even playing field. It's an even playing field, right?
With no fans, yeah. Now, some of the teams that could take the biggest hit, I looked this up on Bleacher Report, 6 teams, no specific order, that have the biggest home field advantages. This is the report said. New Orleans Saints, you know that one, as good as anybody. In the dome, could be a little quiet this year. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of echoes. Breeze calling the plays. It's gonna be bouncing off the dome. We got the Seattle Seahawks. No surprise there. Obviously, the 12th man is no longer. The Pittsburgh Steelers surprised me a little bit here. They're on the list. Tough place to play.
Those terrible towels can get rolling now. I played there. I played there a couple of times, but I've lost there one time. We played in the playoffs when I was with the Miami Dolphins. You know, we're down here. It's January. It's probably like high 60s, mid 70s. We go up to Pittsburgh. It's freezing, and they get out to a big start. And next thing you know, this isn't a yellow flag, but it's you know, they're just getting them going. They're going, and that's all you see. You just see a sea of yellow towels, and it's like, okay, you know, it's an exciting place to play. So I could see how Heinz Field could make its way on that list.
Green Bay Packers made the list. Lambeau Field.
I don't feel it. I love playing. I loved playing there. You know, I got to be a part of the Green Bay Chicago rivalries. I felt it. But it's not like some of those stadiums where you go to where people are cussing you out. I know Pittsburgh, when it comes to the opposing team, a lot of the fans didn't have good things to say to us, just like most places. But Green Bay was different. It felt different. You could feel the history, but it wasn't overly loud. When it comes to tough places, for me, I'm just thinking a loud, hostile environment. I didn't get that when I was in Green Bay.
This one surprised me a little bit. The Denver Broncos are on the list.
Mile high. Listen, you get up there, opposing team, you get up there in that altitude and you start breathing a little heavy around about halftime in that third quarter and you might be down 7 to 10 points. Yeah, it can get a little hostile. Will I put them on my top 6? Probably not, but I can understand that one.
I remember a time it got really quiet when Flacco threw it to Jacoby Jones, got behind the safety, tied the game up, went on to win the Super Bowl.
That's
Which brings me to the next team on the list. The next team on the list, I would have put them there even if they weren't, but they made it. The Baltimore Ravens, tough place to play.
M&T Bank is tough. I think I've won there none. I haven't played in a game where we won. Well, I was in 2018 season, but I didn't travel for family reasons, and we did win.
And then Tucker missed extra point.
Yeah, God blew it out the way, blew it with slightly right. I know that kind of hurt your feelings, but it is what it is.
Oh, good there. I think this is going to come into play more than people think with no fans. Some of these upper echelon teams, when they travel, like the Saints, you guys go to, say, the Rams, or you guys go to Atlanta, and that's like their Super Bowl. When the Patriots travel, back when they had Brady, they go to Miami, and Miami would win some of those games because that's their Super Bowl. I mean, they sell out for those games with those teams coming in town. I think if they're going to take a big hit, and some of these teams could actually win games that they lost in previous years.
I totally agree with that. I mean, home field advantage is real. It's real for about 5 to 7 teams. It's all about the environment. You got to make sure that you go into the game not just with a great game plan when it comes to offense, defense, and special teams, but you got to make sure that you are accounting for the noise, for the mayhem. You got to make sure that you are all on the same page. I'm talking silent communications between the offensive line, quarterback, receivers. It's kind of like sign language sometimes when you're out there. So you got to be on the same page. So I know they talked about pumping in crowd noise. I know some organizations have already attempted to do that in the past and gotten in trouble for it. But if they're going to do that, that's going to be it might give you that home field advantage feel, but it's going to be different when you don't feel those people in the stands. But you know what? It is going to make each and every player. And I'm going to kind of take this from the NBA. I didn't know how the NBA was going to be with no fans, but you see what they did to that game. They've done a really good job of making it feel like fans were at the game. I don't know. I'm going to give it a few weeks. I'm going to give it a few weeks, feel it out, especially because they had no preseason games, so they couldn't even work out the rust. It's going to be definitely a kind of a tough transition going into the season for a few teams.
It'll be a work in progress for sure.
Absolutely.
As a former offensive lineman, who do you think this benefits more, the offense or the defense?
I think it benefits the offense more, especially if you don't have those momentum swings and the high crowd noises. And I just think it's an opportunity for the offense to be on a better page. Like I said earlier, it evens the playing field a little bit when you go into places like M&T Bank. Those are hard places to play. Going to Seattle, those are tough places to play. So now it feels like it's a glorified team-on-team practice in a stadium, Like I said, we have to figure out what they're going to do with the crowd noise, see how that affects the game. If it's the same, if it's louder, we don't know yet. So we will get to see this coming Thursday. I'm excited about that. I'm excited just to see the guys back out there and see some good competition on the football field.
For sure. Like you said, defense is a reactionary position. Offense knows where they're going beforehand. So if they can all be on the same page, I think it definitely gives them the upper hand. Yep. Like you said. So I agree with you there. jump right into our surprise teams of the year. We're going to get to the teams we think are going to be successful again and make the Super Bowl and all that stuff later on. But some surprise teams that, didn't make the playoffs last year that we think might jump out there. So I'll jump into it first. I'm going with the Colts. 7-9 last year. They were 2-7 in their last 9 games. So they started off strong and kind of fell off a little bit. You added Phillip Rivers. You added Buckner. You got Jonathan Taylor coming in at running back. Michael Pittman Jr., another wide receiver for Phillip Rivers. Houston's going to decline, I think, in that division. Bill Bradley's kind of, losing the locker room a little bit. They got rid of D-Hop. The Titans played well, so that's going to be their biggest competitor, I think, to win this division. And they just got Clowney, which doesn't help my cause here. But I think Tannehill, in his second year, there's more film on him now. I think, he kind of surprised people last year, played out of his skin, got his big contract now. So I think he's going to have a slight regression there. I know that's your boy.
Second big contract now. Let's if you're going to count his pockets, make sure you count his pockets the right way. Tannehill signed this is second nice deal he's got.
Yeah. So, maybe he'll lay back a little bit. I just think the Colts are built to win. They have the Pro Football Focus calls it the easiest schedule to play. So I like the Colts here. I think if you're going to bet them, you take them to win the division. I think they're minus 110. Love the Colts. 7-9 last year. Definitely going to improve. My surprise team. Who you got?
That's not a bad pick. I like that pick. I'm going to go with the 5-10-1 from last year, Arizona Cardinals. I think they can squeak out 7, 8, maybe 9 wins this year. Will they make the playoffs? They could be that team that gets in at 9-7. It's happened before. It's happened a few times, actually. Kyler Murray had a good first year. Now he gets to come back for a second year. He has some experience under his belt. He has some playing time under his belt. And guess what? They got another weapon on the opposite side of Larry Fitzgerald. They bring in DeAndre Hopkins. I mean,
Woo.
Come on. You got Larry and DeAndre, and now you got Kenyon Drake, who's been in the system since day one. He wasn't traded there like last year. He is very explosive out the backfield. He can catch the ball really well, run between the tackles, and he's fast enough outside the tackles. I like what they did on defense. They did bring in Isaiah Simmons in the first round from Clemson. He's a guy you can move all over the place. Maybe he's somebody who can, be another playmaker on the defensive side of the ball. Chandler Jones, you know what you're going to get out of him. Double-digit sacks every year. Like I said, they went 5-10-1 in 2019. I definitely think they can get in between 7 and 9 wins this year in 2020.
Vegas has them at 7, so you're saying take the over on that one. I like it.
Yeah.
Now, we do have a new segment. We said we have some new stuff for you guys. It's going to be called Me's Money Moves. I got a little algorithm, some numbers that I throw in there. When something fits into my system, we're going to throw it out there as a Me's Money Moves play. Now, it's not going to be all the time. And make sure you're following us because it's going to be released on our story or on Twitter. But I do have one for you here, and it's the Detroit Lions over 6.5 wins this year. Now, they were three. That's going to be the first Me's Money Move. So it's a whole season. We get to follow it. But if you're betting out there, you want to throw some money down, I love the Detroit Lions over 6.5 wins. They were 3-12-1 last year. Now, for a 3-12-1 team, they were winning 43% of the time. So 43% of the time they were on the field, they had the lead.
Wow.
For a team that plays like that, you should have 7, 8 wins. They were 3-12-1.
They got to remember finish, baby.
You got to finish. They were 3-7-1 in one-score games last year. So if they can make some of those other games a little closer, that's 5. Get some of those wins. Stafford missed 8 games. They were ranked 9th in injuries last year of all teams. So if they can stay a little healthy, they traded away Darius Slay, and they drafted Jeff Okudah from Ohio State. I think that's going to be a big addition for them. He's going to help out. Slay didn't really get along with Patricia, wasn't buying into a system, so you kind of get that attitude out of the locker room. Great player. But you remove that, and you bring in 3 defensive players that played for Patricia in New England. So you're changing the culture there. They brought in Danny Shelton, D-tackle. They brought in Jamie Collins, the linebacker. They brought in Jerron Harmon, the safety. So I think you're changing all levels, D-line, linebacker, and secondary.
I like that. I like those.
Let's tighten up the defense. Let's, get Stafford back on the field. I think it's an easy 6.5 wins. You're gonna land around 8 or 9 there.
I'm a big
Detroit
fan of that pick.
Lions. Me's money moves.
Me's money moves. He already said it. We're going to add a couple more segments. This is another one. It's called Bush's Big Ballers. I was an O-line for a very long time. I was an O-lineman for a very long time in this league. So when it comes to watching games, O-line is the first position that I look for. So with this, on this first episode, I guess you could say, a segment of Bush's Big Ballers, I'm going to give you my top 5 offensive lines going into the 2020 season. Number 5, we're going to do it backwards. Number 5, they played really well last year, so well, they were the number 1 ranked offensive line. The Philadelphia Eagles, I'm going to put them at number 5. Brandon Brooks, your all-pro right guard. He went down in the postseason with an Achilles injury. That's tough. He's going to come back, but we do not know when. Jason Peters, he's not done yet. He did not join me on Retirement Island. He's still out there getting it done. But he's not going to be the left tackle of the Philadelphia Eagles. And if he is the left tackle, you better come up with some more of them duckies. I've already seen the reports he's going to want more money for it, and I don't blame him. But he's not done. He's going to be at one of those guard positions. And you still got Jason Kelsey, man, in the center position. You still got Lane Johnson being a beast out there at right tackle. And like I said earlier, you got Peters. You know what he brings to the game, veteran leadership. So the Philadelphia Eagles are number 5. At number 4, they were actually 4th last year at the end of 2019. I'm putting them 4 again, and this is the Dallas Cowboys. Their offensive line has been pretty consistent over the last few years, probably been their best position. It's unfortunate, though, because Travis Fredericks is retiring. He's joining me on Retirement Island, but I think the Dallas Cowboys are confident about Joe Looney stepping in and taking over the center position. Tackles Tyron Smith and La'el Collins are dominant, but the injury bug could kind of set them back a little bit. He's dealing with an injury. He's going to be out I'm talking La'el Collins, he's going to be out for at least the first 3 weeks. Cam Irvin, who they signed to be their swing tackle, is going to come in and fill in. So hopefully he gets the job done at a high level. But with Collins, Smith, and let's not forget about Zach Martin, man, in that right guard position, who's been a beast for the last few years. Dak should feel very safe back there in the pocket, and Zeke should have some nice holes to run through. Number 3, you got it on. You got the jersey on. It's the Baltimore Ravens, baby. They're coming in at number 3. You got left tackle Ronnie Stanley, who got the Pro Bowl nod this year, and his counterpart on the other side, Orlando Brown Jr., is continuing to play well. He's trending up. But the question mark is Marshall Yonder stepped away from the game, baby. Welcome to Retirement Island, big dog. It's not a bad place to be. We welcome you here with open arms when you're ready to come. But, Marshall Yonder stepped away, so who's going to fill in those shoes? It needs to be big shoes that they're going to have to fill. And they brought in a big dude in DJ Fluker, veteran presence, great leader, good leader. And he is a mauler in the run game. And the Ravens got to be excited about that because look who they have in the backfield running the ball for them. You got Lamar Jackson, who's a monster, and you got that dude, 21, Mark Ingram, back there running that thing. Big trust. And they picked up the running back out of Ohio State, J.K. Dobbins. I'm excited about where they are with their offensive line. Number 2, I was going to put them 1, but I put them number 2. It's my boys down in the Bayou, the New Orleans Saints. I know my guys had a rough outing last year to the end of their season. The Minnesota Vikings came into the Superdome and handled business. They beat them at home. But you know what? The offensive line played well all last season. They played well the year before that. Team I was on, whatever. We're not going to get into that. But they played well the year before that as well. But they are anchored by 2 of the best tackles in the game right now. You're talking Teron Armstead and Ryan Ramczyk. And Andrews Pete, their left guard, I guess what the kids would say, secured the bag. He got his big payday, and he reported 15 pounds lighter in a training camp. So I'm really excited to see his development over this season and in years to come. But the big question mark down in New Orleans is this: Larry Warford is gone. He's gone. He was a technician. He's a pretty good leader now, and a presence on their offensive line who was very consistent. But they did bring in Cesar Ruiz out of Michigan, their first round draft pick. His maturation and development is what I am waiting to see this year, because you got to keep number 9 clean. And you got to solidify the middle of the pocket. Everybody knows Drew Brees wants to step up. Tackles, take care of the dish. Drew Brees wants to step up and make his read. The good thing about Drew, he's going to get the ball out when he's supposed to. So that's my number 2. My number 1 offensive line going into 2020. I'm going to give it to you like this. Familiarity and availability are key for successful O-line play. And that's why I'm putting the Indianapolis Colts as my number 1. They ranked 3rd last year. And here's the thing, they're returning every single starter. They're led by pancake specialist Quentin Nelson and left tackle Anthony Costanzo, who just signed a 2-year deal to solidify himself on that offensive line for the next couple of years. They got a new quarterback, though, under center as well. That's why I'm excited, and that's why you're excited too, me, because you picked this guy. You're rolling with the gunslinger. He's an experienced. He just talks so much trash when he's out there. And it's Phillip Rivers, baby. They're getting Phillip under center. I think Phillip is very, very hungry for a Lombardi trophy. But I can understand why he keeps playing. He's got to stack them coins because he got a lot of mouths to feed in that house.
A lot of kids.
A lot of kids. So there it is. Bush's big ballers. My top 5 offensive lines going into this year. Like I said, 5 Eagles, 4 Dallas, 3 Ravens, 2 Saints, 1 Colts. Bush's big ballers.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And that's where you win the game, in the trenches.
In the trenches, baby.
You see my surprise team of the year, the Colts, is on the list. Some other of those teams might come up later when we do our Super Bowl, way too early Super Bowl predictions. So I love it. Bush's big ballers, me's money moves, a couple segments that have come at you guys this year.
Yeah.
Another one's fantasy. I know you guys love fantasy football out there, so I'm going to try to get you guys some matchups that we like the week of. Fantasy! For the whole season, I got 3 key breakout players. Now, these aren't people that are going to be first or second round picks, but they're going to have a breakout year, and next year they might be first or second round picks. So I'm going to start it off. 3 of them for you. First one, Devin Singletary, running back in Buffalo. The Buffalo Bills, you picked them a lot last year. They had a breakout year. Singletary was there, but he was hampered by injuries in 2019. Sat behind Frank Gore. He only had 2 touchdowns last year. He's catching the ball out of the backfield. He's running the ball. Gore's gone. I think that's going to open it up for him. Josh Allen is his maturation process. He's growing and he's getting better. And not to mention they added Stephon Diggs, who might be able to help them a little bit down the field. Absolutely. Open up that run game, maybe even open up the passing game a little dink down, because Diggs takes 2 guys with him, and now Singletary's open. I think he's going to have more catches. He's going to have more yards. I'm looking at 800 to 1,000 yards rushing this year. You're going to get some receiving too, and a total of double-digit touchdowns, rushing and receiving. So that's great. That's the type of year that's going to turn him into a first-round pick in 2021 for you fantasy guys out there. There is some rumor coming out of camp that he's been fumbling the ball a lot, and they say if that continues into the regular season, look for rookie Zach Moss to split some time with him, especially in the end zone, because they don't want to fumble the ball down there. So if you do take Singletary, make sure you handcuff him with Moss and get Moss a little later just in case, so you get both of them 1 pick. Moving on to wide receiver, John Ross III out of Cincinnati. Now he's 4th on the depth chart right now, but he is fast, and I'm telling you, running down the field. It's a late round flyer here, so he's not going to change your team instantly. But if you stash him on your bench until he moves up into he's a starting slot receiver by week 4, week 5, I think you're getting a steal here in the 13th or 14th round, because there's a guy coming into Cincinnati who's looking to change the whole mojo there, and his name is Joey Burrow. And I think he's got the arm to get at the ball to John Ross III. I don't think they had anybody to get him the ball before he got there. They're going to be behind most of the time, so they're going to be throwing the ball. So this is another way to get him the rock, get some fantasy points for you. Like I said, I think he's going to be starting in the slot week 4, week 5, John Ross III. And the only guy at receiver I like better than him is my number 1 breakout player of the year, and his name is Sterling Shepard, wide receiver, New York Giants. He's shown great rapport with Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones is going to step up in his game this year, but that's another segment we'll do later. Sterling Shepard got 25% target share from Daniel Jones last season. That means when Daniel Jones' arm went like this, 25% of the time he was going to Sterling Shepard. He's getting drafted in the leagues behind Darius Slayton. They think Slayton's going to be the number one producer in New York. I don't think so. I think by the end of the year, the number one guy is going to be Sterling Shepard. He only had 576 yards last year, 3 TDs, so I think you're getting great value here. Great room to move up. He should finish around 8 or 10 touchdowns this year. If you can get him in the 8th, 9th, 10th round still, I think you're going to love it. Sterling Shepard, my number one breakout player.
Nice little list you got there.
Yeah. So let's get into the way too early Super Bowl predictions.
Yeah, let's go ahead and
It's a tougher year this year because you don't know what's going to happen. Like you said, we'll wait and see. I think a lot of people are going to be waiting and seeing how the fans affected, how no preseason games. Timing is going to be off a little bit.
It's all going to start with leadership. It's all going to start with the coaching staff. It's all going to, you got to make sure the best teams, the ones who are consistently in the playoffs, those are the teams that I'm looking to see make another jump, or somebody can make that leap into the Super Bowl. Whoever can get their team focused on the right thing every single day. It's not about the fans. It's not about the pandemic and COVID. It's about what can you do as an individual to make yourself better? What can you do to help your group? And how can your group help the team? And that's really what it's about. So when it comes to the start of the season, I'm definitely looking at who's starting the season fast, who is starting the right way, who's not fumbling the ball, who's not dropping passes, who's just doing everything right, because I feel like they're going to be in the best mindset. So you want to start the way too early Super Bowl predictions, or you want me to do it?
Well, you just said all that. I think you just roll right into it. Who you got? Who's going to be the best leader? Who's going to be the team that gets there?
I do think I like Andy Reid. I do. He's found his way. I think the Chiefs get back to the Super Bowl. You just paid Mahomes. He got to go earn that contract now. They didn't lose too much in free agency, so you got to feel good about the weapons that they have coming back. I know Damian Williams is a little banged up right now, but once he comes back, that's just another layer, to your team and what you're able to do when it comes to open up the playbook. On the defensive side, they still got those monsters up front. You still got Matthew in the back playing extremely well, and you're going to get Alex Okafor back on the edge. He'll definitely provide some pressure for you. But who I think is going to be representing the NFC, I said it last year, and I really, really mean it again this year, and that's the New Orleans Saints. Because, look, you pretty much got the same offense except for one person on the offensive line. You got the same offense. You got Jared Cook, who's coming into his own. His relationship with Drew is better. You saw it over the last 8 games of the season. And you bring in Emmanuel Sanders? Are you kidding me? To complement Michael Thomas? And then you go and look at the defensive side of the ball. Hopefully you can get a healthy Kiko Alonso, because he's all over the field. You still got Janoris Jenkins in there. He's got a season under his belt. DJ Swearinger, and you bring in Malcolm Jenkins as another vital piece. He's been playing at a high level for a very long time. So I like what they're doing. What they're doing in New Orleans, it's do or die Super Bowl. They got to win it this year. This is the year, because this team will not look like this come next season. So I got Saints and Chiefs that are going to be playing in Tampa.
Barbecue and gumbo, huh? That's what you're going with?
I'm a fan of both, so let's do it.
Well, I got to start in the AFC, and you're going to say it's a homer pick, but I'm going with my Ravens, baby. Oh, by the way, I had to rock this jersey for the show, because when we had Marco on earlier this year, he got on you about, those little jerseys back there. You don't have one of him up there.
I do. I got it. I got one.
I took it. He called you out on it. I took advantage of the Visualize and Rise golf outing, Jermon Bushrod style, and snagged this jersey in the silent auction. It is signed on the back. So next time, if I have a dance-off with them, I'll have to wear it. But I'm going with the Ravens, man. They had a great year last year and then completely let us down in the playoffs. It reminds me of the year the Chiefs had prior to the year winning the Super Bowl. They had that breakout year. Mahomes was the MVP. Everybody had the expectations. They couldn't get past the Patriots. in the AFC Championship game. And then the next year, you know, they were confident and just were in their own and pretty much unstoppable. So I think the Ravens are going to mimic that, and it's going to be their year. You know, 14-2 last year, it's going to be hard to mimic that, but I think they got the leadership with my man in the locker room. You got some young bloods coming in, J.K. Dobbins. I think Lamar's just he's motivated, man, and he's got a one-track mind, and that's to win the Super Bowl. 5 seconds after he was drafted, he said, they're going to get a Super Bowl out of me, and I think that's going to be this year. But who's going to meet them there? And this is where everybody's going to say, whoa, I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys here.
What?
I knew you were going to say that. Dallas. And if you want to throw a little flyer out there, any bettors out there,
man.
17-1. Sprinkle a little money on there, 17-1 to win the Super Bowl. Mike McCarthy's coming in there. Look, the ingredients are already there. They just haven't had anybody to mix it all the right way. They haven't had any.
Forgot about McCarthy.
They need a chef to come in there and control it. Mike McCarthy's coming in, and I think he's gonna in the kitchen, Richard Stern like a stir fry, whatever that song is. I think he's coming in there. I think he's gonna come in there. You know, Dax is gonna have a great year. Prescott. I think Zeke is if he can keep his head on straight, I think he's a great weapon. And you got to remember CeeDee Lamb, those hands from the NFL draft. Snap them. I think they're primed to do it, and they got the right man behind the wheel now this year. And they're going to surprise a lot of people. And why not? Why can't they get all the way there? I think the NFC, you know, is going to be wide open. And who knows? It's 2020 has been a crazy year, so why can't something crazy happen? I'm going Ravens, Cowboys.
Okay, well, we'll see. That's way too early. One of us, we're gonna be wrong. Somebody's gonna be wrong, but I like where we are. This was a good first show. What did we say earlier? What'd you say earlier, me? Catch us every Friday.
Every Friday morning. Look for it coming through every Friday morning. We're gonna be posting the video. We're gonna be posting just the audio. So if you listen to us in the gym, if you listen to us while you drive, throw it on Friday mornings. You'll be ready for your games on Sunday, whether it's fantasy, whether you're betting action, or just whether you're talking trash to your friends. You're going to get it all right here. Like I said, reminder, our Thursday picks are just going to be released on our social media, so make sure you're following us at Bush and Me Show on all social media platforms. Speaking of Thursday night games, we got one coming up, so make sure you're following us now. Click that button, because Thursday we're going to release these picks. Houston at Kansas City. For you fantasy guys out there, start Mahomes, start everybody on the Chiefs, start Watson. But if you want a flyer, I like Brandon Cooks, you know, a new face there that could get some more touches of the rock without D-Hop being there. Start Brandon Cooks. And make sure you're following us, man, because we'll have the picks Thursday and every Friday morning just for you guys.
Hey, come along with the journey, man. It's the Bush and Me Show. We appreciate you listening. Tell a friend, tell that friend to tell a friend, and tell that friend to tell another friend. Because we're going to need your support. We coming up, and that's what we're going to do. Appreciate you tuning in to Bush and to me. We're going to catch you next week.
See you Friday morning.